5 watts out of the 480, 5 watts out of the 480, and I'm going to creep it up. You were an S9, Sean, on yours. As I creep up, I'm going to run it up here to 45 watts. There's 45, 50 watts right now, 50. As I come up to 65, this is the drive power of the SGC amplifier that I have in the back. Is 65 watts, and right now we'll make it equal playing field at 100 watts. 100 watts right there, and amplifier is turned off, and we do not have that. Make sure that's not on. As I go up to 150, right there is 150, and then we'll crank it up to the 200. It's maxed out at the 200. Let me crank it back down to the 65 watt drive power right here. That's what I drive the amplifier, and as I do a reach around onto the amplifier, I click the switch, and I look down and it's showing just under 400 watts on the amplifier. KC6JLN with the 480HX, 65 watts into the SGC 500 cubed amplifier at right around 400 watts. Back to you there, Sean. KC6JLN. Yeah, roger, roger. I just have the amp on right now. I'm looking at it, and the S meter is touched right on the 400 mark. I know it's on the amp. If I go down to 40 meters, it'll peg the needle at 600 watts on 40. 17's a little lower. 20's like 450, and I don't drive it. Mike doesn't want me driving it past. He doesn't want to go 60 watts on the drive. We tested it out at 75 watts on the drive, and that's hammering the power transistors pretty hard. The attenuation doesn't kick on like we wanted to on the amplifier. Mike's not happy about that, but that would involve getting into the amp, which I don't want to do right now. So if we come up with another issue, maybe that'll happen. So, but that's the amplifier right there, driving the 400 watts, and I'll take the amplifier out of line. And okay, right now the amplifier is offline, and that's 65 watts driving it right there. And I'll crank the power up on the scope, and that's 200 watts going right out of the radio power now. Everything's strictly off of the battery and no engine running, and kind of a winner chicken dinner. Back to you there, Sean. KC6JLN. Okay. And as I look at the amp, I can see the amp is being driven with 65 watts, KC6JLN. And I'm going to lower it down on the drive power to 5 watts drive right now. Right now I'm driving the amplifier with 5 watts, which on the S meter is showing my peak at right about, I'm going to say on the peak, but it's a 600 watt setting, it is about 180 watts roughly right in there. That would be equivalent probably with the radio by itself at the 200 watt setting. So right now it's showing about, 200, it's showing right now. Take it back, I misread it. Right now it's driving the amplifier at about, probably 100 watts, showing 50 watts right there. The amplifier is being driven right now, it shows 50. I'm looking at it at an angle, just why it's making kind of a oddball reading. That's where I'm standing outside the vehicle here. And there's 10 watts of driving it right there. And right now I'm driving the amplifier with 15 watts of driving the amplifier, buzzed it right up at about 150 watts. And we'll go back up here to my regular 65 watts, which puts it about 400 watts on the drive. So that should be enough right there for the video as far as seeing it right there. Back to you there, Sean. KC6JLN. On the Australian station. And I got part of it. I missed a call sign right there. I'm back up to driving it. We're doing a test right here, Bob in San Pedro. KC6JLN, Kilo Charlie 6 and Juliet Lima, November on the Australian station. And we're definitely hoping that it's working okay on the SGC 500 cube amplifier. Strictly off a battery, no engine running, and hopefully you could copy okay. The Australian station, give me the call sign. Bob here in San Pedro. KC6JLN, Juliet Lima, November.
Yeah, KC6 Juliet Lima, November, VK2, Charlie Papa Charlie, Victor Kilo 2, Charlie Papa Charlie. Yeah, I'm beaming at you on the short path, and I could hear you on 5 watts, or whatever it was you was down to. It wasn't much, but yeah, they're not massive signals, but I've got no noise, so it's pretty good. Name this end is Les, Lima Echo Sierra. anyway, I'm right on the East Coast. KC6 Juliet Lima November, VK2 Charlie Papa Charlie.
Yeah, roger that. VK2 Charlie Papa Charlie. Missed the name there. Apologize. My QRZ is not up here at this site. I'm in a park right now, and about 500 feet above sea level. The testing we were doing is with a buddy in northeastern Oklahoma who's recording this, and then he'll post it under my call sign on the YouTube, where you can see the testing that we've done with the amplifier and the radio and the microphone. Radio here is a 480HX Kenwood, rolled back to 65 watts right now into the SGC 500 cube amplifier, which is about 15 years old. And we just installed it here a couple of weeks ago, and we've been doing some testing with it right there. Your signal was a S5, went down to a 2, and that's just the band conditions, I think, fluctuating up and down like a roller coaster. Your call sign sounds familiar, like I've heard you on the 155 group in the mornings, usually. Not sure if you frequent that or not, but your call sign kind of rang a bell for some reason, I don't know. VK2, Charlie Papa Charlie, missed the name right there. Bob here in San Pedro, which is about 35 miles south of Los Angeles. Back to you.
Yeah, okay, Bob, not a problem. Yeah, the name here is Les, Lima Echo Sierra. I'll give it again, Lima Echo Sierra. Yeah, the band's up and down a little bit, but yeah, I've got no noise here at all. And okay on south of LA. Yeah, I'm about doing miles, 300 miles north of Sydney, right on the east coast. I'm right by the water, and I get a good takeoff your way, Bob. No problem at all. Okay, on the Kenwood, here running a 4-element step IR, the DB36. The ICOM 7610, and the amps and FBE, and around 400 watts here. So that's the working conditions here. Alright, I'll throw it back over to you, Bob, and I'll let you carry on doing your testing, but it sounds good down here on the East Coast. Kilo Charlie 6, Juliet Lima November, and I've just put your call sign in. I don't think we've worked before, Bob. VK2 Charlie Papa Charlie.
Roger that, Les. Good to hear you on there. And can I get a signal report for you for the logbook? You jumped up to a 5.7 on that last one, Les.
Yeah, you're peaking about 5 and 5 as it stands at the moment. And when you knocked all the power down, you were sort of not moving the needle. But around the 5.5, over.
Roger. And thanks a lot. I'm not sure if Sean is copying you. He's in northeastern Oklahoma. But thanks a lot for the comeback right there. Sean, are you copying Les over there out of the Australia area? KI7KX, KC6JLN?
Yeah, KI7KX. All right, no problem at all. And yeah, I've not put you in the log, but and I missed the name there. Anyway, thanks for the 5.7. You're about the same here, 5 and 7, and not a problem at all. Copy it. Yeah, right, well, I won't hold it with you. I'll let you carry on. But you're sounding, both of you, really good down here. Surprised the band's open. But anyway, there you go. I've just been on 20 meters on the long path, working long path, and that was open as well. KI7KX, have a great weekend, the two of you, and you, Bob. And give me the name before I go, VK2CPC.
Yeah, Roger. Good to hear you on there, Les. Got you in the logbook right now, and definite pleasure. You're fluctuating between a 5 and a 7 here, and we were doing some testing there, Les, on an antenna. So Sean's running a Z06 BKW wire versus my infed wire. So when he switches the ladder to the 2, his Z06 works better than the infed. I think his infed's like 130 feet long. But I'm using a dual band infed antenna up here, but it's got some loss with a trap. I'm using a 17-meter trap that I've got a little bit of loss, but it seems to be working for what it is. And you know, Sean, I think Les was signing there, 730 Les. And I think the deal with the antenna is the ladder lines interact. I've got metal railing up here, and unless I can hang the ladder line and go through all that nonsense, it it interacts and it gives you a high viswar. If it's blowing around, the viswar is all over the map, and I think it works as a good antenna in a fixed location like yours, but in a location where I'm at where it's going up and down, I think it would, I don't think it would work that good. Plus the fact that you're hanging it, your bowline is in pretty much the middle of that antenna, right, Sean? Back to you.
Sean, got it, and I'll put me, you might find there's a few YouTubes on of me as well. All right, thanks very much, you two, and have a great day, and it must be getting late your side. Early in the morning here, just 9:20 in the morning. 7-3, catch you later. KI7K. I'll get used to that. Yeah, I've got you here in the log, Sean. We had work before. KC6JLN. Bob, nice to work here. VK2CPC. Bye for now.
Roger, roger. And good to hear you on there as we play ham radio and always testing. And Sean, I would say, yeah, the antenna. I went through the nightmare at my house, Sean, running the VKW antenna, and it was interacting with my roof. And I had rope and string holding it up away from the roof, and it looked like Mike took one look at it, who eats and sleeps antennas, and he thought that was, he shook his head and said no, and it didn't. In fact, it was Mike's antenna, and I gave it to a friend of mine, but it did not like my setup at home, and interacted. Another buddy's got it running in his backyard, and he was hearing Japan coming in earlier, where I couldn't hear the Japan up here at the park, and I'm a lot higher than the guy that has the the BKW. I could not hear it. So anyhow, hang on just a minute. Let me do something here. Shut the amplifier off. I'm thinking you're able to hear me okay without it. And your signal on that last one. I'm wondering, Sean, have you ever considered the amplifier's off? Now let me run the power on the 480 up here. So now I'm back up at the 200-watt setting on the 480. I got to remember to change that, otherwise it could make the amplifier very unhappy. Sean, have you that SM God, if you had you had a 10/9 signal here right now, big audio, but if you ran that SM30 microphone that I have, it's loud and clear, but it might pick up that fan noise, and that's the one thing I don't like about the 7300. I told a buddy of mine who has one, actually everyone over here, is that every time you key down on the 7300, you got to hear that going in the fan if your desk mic is close to it. Man, if there was a way you could muffle that or put something over it, but you know me and fan noise, Back to you there, Sean. And yeah, I believe the antenna works good. Never had an issue with it. I mean, my buddy never did, but me it didn't like. At my location, I don't think the and I think that he would concur because he's listening, the BKW is not made to be thrown up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down at a park like I use it. The antenna that Mike built for me that I'm using now, I could throw it up 1,000 times in a week, and you're not going to hurt anything. It loves it no matter what. The BKW, you're going to be patching and fixing, and it is not meant for that. I think the person that has it will concur 100% that. It's not meant to go throw it. Can you take your antenna and put up and down without having things wear? And I don't think so. And then curl it up into a little box. It becomes a little bit, even though it works better, but so does a hex beam, you know, so does the step IR that Les was using right now. You know, you're not taking a back seat to anybody with a step IR, so you know, it would work good. You know, I went through a lot on the amplifier. I told you I had to put Mike doesn't mind, you know, if you turn an amplifier on and you hear going, to me, that's a fingernails on a chalkboard to me. So I don't want to hear any fan noise. So I put I think it was a 10-watt resistor, 5-watt resistor in the power leads on the fan that I built for running two 4.5-inch fans on the bottom. I made nice little, you don't even see it, painted it, looks beautiful on the bottom of the SGC, and you don't hear any fan noise. I can hold the microphone down there now, and you're not going to hear, hang on a second, let me put it down here. You hear nothing. And I've had it running now to cool any more of the amp down, but you don't hear the fans. So, and they're running beautifully. So it's tied into when you turn the amp on, it sits there and both fans hum, but I slowed the speed down. I wish that the 73 didn't have that. So anyhow, back over to you there, Sean, and see if the signal's holding up. You were a 10/9 on that last one there. KC6JLN. Yeah, KC6JLN. And Hang on just a second. I was looking down at my, making sure I don't do a poo-poo no-no. I did drop my power down to 65 watts drive, and the amplifier is back on as we hammer the heck out of the SGC 500 to make sure that it's going to behave flawlessly from now till eternity, I'm hoping, after what I went through, as you well know, to get this darn thing. But one thing I was checking on this, what I did by mistake one time, I was borrowing Mike's amp. I didn't pay attention, and I hammered it with, I think it was on the 200-watt setting on the 480 into his amplifier. But he's got his attenuator set to where it trips on at, I think, 100 watts. Yeah, if you drive it more than that, and it'll roll it back. But still, Mike was listening. He goes, like, what the heck did you... And I was like, man alive, I'm going to end up having to send his the amplifier up to get fixed because I wasn't paying attention there. So, if we damage Mike's amplifier, but if we damage mine, that's a whole different ballgame. We don't want to damage this one. So, yeah, I'm driving it now, and the watt meter is showing about just under about 350, 400 right in there. If I could drive it harder, but that's not going to make any difference. Hang on just a second. There's 75 watts right there, and it's showing just under about 400 watts right there, but maybe a little more. 65 is enough. No sense. You don't want to take and put the brick on the gas pedal. So, anyhow, it seems to be working. The power strictly off the battery, no engine running, no battery booster in line, strictly off of the deep cycle. Back to you there, Sean. KC6JLN, and I was going to ask you, I think your ladder line on that BKW is 35 feet? Yeah, roger that. One of my buddies that has one, I think he said it's around 35 feet, 36, somewhere right in there, but I'm looking at the park here where I have that 90-some feet of antenna would take it right over to the chain link fence. So if you take the one leg of your antenna and put it up near a foot away from a metal chain link fence, I'll bet it would probably you'd get some reaction out of that on there. I agree that the BKW would work better than the trap antenna that Mike built that I'm using. There's loss in the trap, but it's 20 and 17 are flat across the band, so I don't have to worry about that. But it's definitely something that I'm kind of done with it. The amplifier was the last challenge that went on for months with that guy that's in New Mexico. That turned into a fiasco, and then I ended up coming across this one. Actually, I posted a one ad on the QTH site, and I got a call from a guy saying he had one. I don't know if I ever told you, but he had an amplifier, but he didn't know, he never used it, and I asked, he wanted to know what I thought it was worth. He had no way of testing it, and that's when he sent me the picture. Once he sent me the picture, I bought it off of sight unseen just because it looked brand new. So I was willing to take a chance and throw the dice, and lucky it ended up being a good amplifier. So a nice gentleman. He said he was about 80 years old, and he was an extra class that said he was an appliance operator basically, and had no way of physically health issues, not able to get involved with the amplifier and test it and all that. So I bought it sight unseen, and it's on right now, and hopefully it's working. KC6JLN. Yeah, roger that. The amplifier's turned off, and it's strictly the 480 at 200 watts right now. So I'm sure if the signal's probably still up there. You went down to from a 10/9 to an S5, so the bands are shifting around on us a little bit. And I'm looking at my clock right now, Sean, and I'm seeing that it's getting closer to 3 o'clock West Coast time, and I'm going to have to get going. The shift that I was working on is finishing, and I was able to pull the first break, and I got to get back right now. So anyhow, I'm going to say 7.3s, and I'll be looking for this video later today or tomorrow. Probably won't be able to get to it today, but tomorrow we'll look for it. And if I'm able to come up tomorrow, I'm going to come up and I'll give you a shout out tomorrow. But I'm looking at the time right here, and I got to scoot back. So anyhow, 7.3s there, Sean, and thanks for the recording and the chat and the testing. I'm ecstatic the way the amplifier works. I think the BKW would work better, but it's just too much of an antenna bumbling around with it in the ladder line, and this antenna goes into a box, one of these little go-to, what do they call those boxes that you put it in, and with the foam, and the antenna fits in and it closes. You can darn near put it in your pocket. So the only thing I had to change out was the chalk line. I had to buy a new one. I threw it over the fence and it hit the steel pole and broke the chalk line. So we got that happy again. So anyhow, I'm going to say 7-3, Sean, and we'll look forward. I'll give you a shout. If not tomorrow, I won't know till Monday what the ship schedule is. So anyhow, we'll try for tomorrow. KI7KX, KC6JLN. Roger there, Sean. And we'll look for you the next chat. I'll look for the video. I just started my truck right now, and what I do is when I'm through talking, because I don't have the engine running, is I have a switch set up to where I flip the switch and the engine running will charge the battery that's in the back of the truck right here. So they're two separate batteries, so I don't charge them together at the same time. 7-3 there, Sean. Always a pleasure, and we'll catch up to you later. KC6JLN.